Hello and welcome to Deep Blue Sea, the podcast. I am Mark Hoffmeyer.
And I am Jay Cluett.
And joining me is Norbert Morvan.
My head is like a shark fin!
I'm shocked that so many people haven't done that yet. You're the first person to come on and bust that out. It should be every week.
Listen to me, man. Listen to me. LL Cool J soundtrack jams include My Hat is Like a Shark Fin, Deepest Bluest, and Any Given Sunday. I can shut it down so fast, where he does the Bone Thugs spitting over the incredible beat by DJ Scratch. You can't hold me! Get off me! He's bench pressing a woman in the video.
Oh, that's amazing. I was reading like something about that song from Any Given Sunday, and like it's primarily known for LL Cool J like rapping very fast.
Yeah. It was really good. It's my jam. It's my jam.
And I don't know if you remember this, but Deep Blue Sea, Deepest Bluest, it had a making of on MTV. They did a making of the video for Deepest Bluest.
That is not a cheap music video, man. First of all, there are synchronized dancers doing synchronized swimming. Oh, by the way, LL Cool J's head does the T-1000 thing into a shark's head.
Hell yes.
With his hat, because his head is like a shark fin, you see?
Oh, man. I was working in a movie theater when that movie came out, and I got to listen to that every single time when I cleaned the theater, and it made me so happy. I got mad when we had two theaters I worked at, and so it was playing at Tyrone 6, but when I went to Crossroads 8, I was bummed because I was kind of mopey because I couldn't watch Deep Blue Sea during all my breaks. But I got to tell you something, Jay. It was kind of funny. Norbert and I were talking before this episode, and Norbert said, "So, Mark, you gave me a very interesting clip to watch for this one." And so, Norbert, what did you mean by that? Like, what about this chapter? One day it's tomorrow. The duration's almost 2 minutes. What about this clip was interesting for you?
The thing is that it's a good baseline for where the characters are before disaster. It shows you the inner workings a little bit of Aquatica. And it also gives you we have 2 walls over here. And down there are 17 boxes. And oh, look, there is a Cuisinart. You get the whole rundown of what this place is before the sharks go to their business. And you get a little bit of intro to Scoggins. You know what? I've never cared about his name. It's always Michael Rappaport plays one dude in 40 years of cinema. So it's always just, to me, Michael Rappaport.
And what I love about this is, so back in 2017, I wrote a data article about diving into the deep data of Deep Blue Sea. And during this scene is when I realized that Rennie Harlan, the director and the production designers, they do a really good job of giving you where you are in Aquatica. So in the beginning, she's like half mile of catwalk. So I did all the math on that, the titanium fences. And then they talk about living quarters in the first, then wet labs and workshops, and then wet entry. And then also in this, they, like when they're going down on the freight elevator, they show you a map of the facility too that I freeze framed and snipped from the thing and used like the locations of all the characters. So I like that. This gives you a good setup. So already we know about the sharks. We know about Carter Blake riding the sharks. And now we know about Aquatica. And I kind of love that. But can I ask you guys a question about this?
Yeah.
Real quick?
Yeah.
So Jay and Norbert, in this scene, Janice is giving Russell Franklin the rundown. And she says almost everyone here is top of the game.
Almost everyone. Almost everyone.
I mean, that's kind of a shot, right? She's saying almost everyone.
Well, and it cuts immediately, as she's saying that, it cuts to Carter walking on the surface. And I don't think she's talking about Carter with the almost. Because he's up there. He's got to be top.
Listen, the man swims with sharks with barely a knife in his hand and zero equipment in one scene, just barely the rebreather that he just pulls out like, yes, I'm the guy who has tricked the shark into attacking a tank.
If he wasn't top of his game, he wouldn't be alive right now if he was doing that.
Clearly. Just because he's a dirtbag smuggler, hey, we all love Han Solo, right? It's no big deal.
Yeah. So who do we reckon isn't top of the game? My vote goes for Scoggins.
Yeah, Scoggins is definitely one of those guys. Also, I think maybe there's a couple people on there that she just doesn't like who left on the boat. So maybe it's Rick from accounting or Debbie from marine biology.
You know what? Every time Lawrence goes into the bathroom, comes back out, doesn't flush, toilet paper's everywhere. We don't like that guy, you know?
Yeah. And she's a marine biologist, so maybe she's really into the studying. Wait, do you think she could be talking about Susan McAllister?
I think she could be. There was that
She
when
doesn't like her, yeah.
when Susan got off of the plane a couple of weeks ago, there was a look between them, of kind of a dismissive look from Susan. So I think there's bad blood between those two. But my vote's always going Scoggins, as we talked about last week. He mixes metric and imperial. He doesn't know what he's doing. So.
He did say 8 feet 8 centimeters for the fence. Absolutely. Good eye. Yeah, 8 feet 8 centimeters. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So he's definitely not on top of the game. But at the same time, Stellan Skarsgård is rakishly handsome. He's clearly with Janice. And Susan comes in with her accent and her designs on the sharks, blah, 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 blah. So there's definitely that tension, like, don't mess with my man. I'm going to be the one to bring it to you. That could be a thing.
I could see that. Apart from there is not a lot of looks between the two of them. Half of this chapter is all Susan and Stellan.
Right.
That's his name. And there's no kind of chemistry between them. He seems like he's just woken up and is quite gruff and wants to have his morning coffee.
He's smoking packs of cigarettes at the bottom of the ocean. So there's no way his breathing is right. So he's rocky for all eternity. Yeah. And she probably has like a Worf and Jadzia Dax thing where anytime Dax would talk about her ex, what do you mean you had lunch with him on Tuesday? We are married, Worf. It could be that type of thing.
Could be. Yeah.
I do have to say, though, that Saffron Burrows' typing and computer acting is top notch. I've long been obsessed with actors doing computer acting. And I think there's good computer acting and then there's bad computer acting. So I'm placing Hackers at the top, right? Hackers is all the way up top. On the bottom, I don't know what's at the bottom. But somewhere in between, you got Alicia Vikander and Jason Bourne. You got Jake Johnson in Jurassic World, Sandra Bullock in The Net. It's tough to do computer acting, but she pulls it off really well.
I can't remember where it was from, but the bottom has got to be, I think it's from some CSI episode or something where two people are typing on the same keyboard at the same time. Trying to to hack faster, they both type. I think I read that on a Cracked article at some point, so I have to dig that out. But yeah, and they were trying to work out how would that work. Just like one person have Q to T and the other one have Y to P, and they kind of share the spacebar. I just want to know
That's wild.
What kind of a Pacific Rim mind meld is going on to allow that to happen.
Well, honorable mention has to go to Hugh Jackman, who receives, shall we say, pleasure.
Swordfish. Yes.
While he has to hack within 60 seconds. He has to do a really complicated hack.
It's like it would normally take an hour without having 4 shots of tequila and what else is going on in that scene?
While John Travolta smokes a cigarette, this was the conclusion of his wild smoking. So in Pulp Fiction, he looked cool. In Broken Arrow, all he did was chain smoke. So I wrote an article about this on Movie Sons of Flix. I mean, he's smoking every instance of Broken Arrow. And then you move on to Face Off, where it looks like he's playing darts with the cigarette. He's trying to play a cool cigarette smoker. And then in Swordfish, he looks like he's about to palm himself with the cigarette. So he's just smugly watching Hugh Jackman hack with the weird inverted smoking thing.
I'm not going to lie to you. I walked around smoking cigarettes like that for about a year and a half after I saw that movie. Because it was the coolest thing. I did. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I don't know why. Ashamed.
So after you watched Broken Arrow, you just chain smoked. After you watched Face Off, you looked like you were playing darts. And then you watched Swordfish and did that.
See, Swordfish just inspires so many different things. You know, the proper way to negotiate for hostages, the improper way to negotiate for hostages, the way to hold a cigarette a certain way. And then things that you could do while getting pleasure, for example.
John Travolta, he went so over the top, and then he was in The Punisher with Thomas Jane, and they're in Tampa. This is like the capital of cigar, like one of the biggest areas of cigars, and he smokes a pipe.
You know, Scientology. What can I tell you, man?
Oh, brother,
do your thing.
Oh, I gotta tell you guys, there's a very, 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 very important moment in this 2 minutes, and I'm gonna break this down to you. So
go for it.
in this scene, Saffron Burrows, Susan McAllister, is going to grab her research in a locker. And she looks around and something moves. Fish moves, something moves. Now, my theory is that the shark saw where the research is.
Yes.
And later on in the movie, when she goes into her lab on the first level, which we learn in the living quarters,
right,
that when she opens up the locker, that's when the shark attacks. So the shark knew where the research was, and it wanted to destroy it, and the shark learns where it is in this 2-minute scene.
Yep, I agree, and I love that the fish. Well, you don't see the shark. When she turns around, all the fish kind of swim away. My first thought was, are the sharks using the fish as spies, and the fish have been caught, and they've swum away?
Okay, so not only are the sharks smarter, but now they have Aquaman powers?
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
They told the fish, we want to escape, want to go swimming. If you help us, you can come with us.
Because they're trapped in there too.
Yeah, they must be. I mean, they can't fit through the grids.
They are.
Wow.
Okay.
And if the fish say no, the shark's just going to eat them. So
Clearly.
they gotta help.
Clearly.
Morally obligated. But you talked about how great Saffron Burrows' computer acting is. It's so good that I hadn't even considered that she's not really using that computer. So I just completely bought into it. So I have to agree that she is doing a great job pretending to use a computer. A really old, boxy computer that's so huge but still has a separate floppy drive.
Not just a separate floppy drive, a 100 megabyte disk. Okay, that's a big deal.
That is a big deal. That deserves to be kept in a waterproof container in a small metal box inside a cabinet, for which the only key is around her neck. I want to see this as a heist film now, where the sharks have to try and get that key somehow.
Like Sharks 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Why don't you stick with the oceans, Mark? It's Ocean's 11. They're sharks. They live in the ocean. Come on. It's Ocean's 3.
Oh crap!
You missed a layup there, brother. You missed
Yeah,
the
I
button.
did. I got the layup stuck between the rim and the backboard.
A wedgie, if you will.
But yeah, I mean, I'm telling you. So that shark knew. So later on, when that shark attacks, it's waiting for her to open up that locker. And I love that scene sets it up. It sets an ominous vibe. And I'm telling you, this gets. I guess I just like it because it makes my crackpot theories about this film more plausible.
Listen, you took it to a place that I had yet to imagine, because it was one thing for the sharks to be self-aware and set traps and hunt in packs, but now you're telling me that the sharks are securing the research so that no one can chase after them and that they can never be duplicated, and they will end up being kings of the sea, lords of the ocean. This is spectacular.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you something, Jay. I told Norbert my crackpot theory before we started, and he had to lay on the ground for like 10 minutes.
It's not a crackpot theory, Mark. I'm on board. This is correct. That first outing of the sharks was recon.
Yes.
You know.
I've watched this movie dozens of times, and I've never put together that the sharks were actually like, aha, I see you, aha. I just figured the sharks were just being creepy bastards because that's what they are. They're just these devil sharks.
These sharks are Tim Robbins in The Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah. So I guess the third time we've brought that up.
Yeah. So I think the two Gen 1 sharks are Tango and Cash.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
And Gen 2 is what? Zeus from No Holds Barred?
Ripley from Aliens.
Resurrection or 3.
One of those. But so get it. Like, this shark is genetically modified. No, this shark is the queen alien, and Saffron Burrows is Ripley.
I see. Okay, so it's
and
the
vengeance. Disc is Newt.
The disc is right. And then that would make Scoggins Hudson. No way, man. Don't do that water, man. No way, man.
Wow.
I think Scoggins is more useful than Hudson, but okay.
Hey, that's a different podcast.
Scoggins is Vasquez.
Scoggins.
Oh, man.
Vasquez is LL Cool J, man.
But he gets out. He survives.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Michael Bean's LL Cool J.
Spoiler alert.